My name is Dan Sahl, and I am the director of something very special we have here at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, a program dedicated to teaching how to design and develop casino games and innovate in the casino game space. I'm here right now at the Blackfire Innovation Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is a really cool and exciting facility that is recently being built at UNLV, and it's designed to be a collision space for companies large and small, startups, professors, students, to bring new ideas, new technologies, and find ways to create, viable and applicable new technologies or services or experiences. Of course, being in Las Vegas, two of the areas that the Blackfire Innovation Center focuses on is gaming and hospitality, and looking for ways that we can bring new technologies and new concepts and ideas to enhance the products that we offer. One of the questions that I often get asked is, what is the future of slots? What are the challenges that designers and the slot design industry faces and the gaming industry faces looking forward? And I think primarily it's a good news story, right? In that we do face challenges looking forward, but right now, the products that we're offering, whether it's in casinos or whether it's online, are very successful and very popular, right? The people who visit our casinos like to play slots. It's very rare to enter a casino that is busy and see empty slot chairs. So we are delivering an experience, a gaming experience that is very popular with the people who are visiting our properties and visiting our websites today. The question, of course, is what about the future, right? What's going to happen to the popularity of slots when we transition to the next generation of our customers? And it's an important question because eventually we are going to be looking at a base of players who are what we might call the digitally native generation. They have lived and existed and grown in a world of digital experiences where games, particularly video games, have been a huge part of that life and the world that they've experienced. And certainly we're not the only industry, right, that is worried or has to adjust to what their changing tastes or expectations will be. But given that they are they are so comfortable and familiar with games, and games are such a big part of their identity, we certainly need to be aware of whatever cultural changes and expectations that those generations have, how that might affect the appeal of the games that we offer them right now. The real strength of the Center for Gaming Innovation, in terms of the contribution I believe that we are making to this question of what will the future of gaming look like, is this. If you want to understand how to build products that will appeal to the upcoming generation, to our future customers, to the upcoming generation of players, who better to turn to than that generation themselves? So we are really good at taking some of the most talented creative students, not just here in Las Vegas, but we get students from all over the globe who want to learn how to build and innovate in the casino gaming space. And they know what their generation likes because they are part of that generation. They understand what it takes to create a game that would appeal to esports players because they are esports players and esports enthusiasts. So they come with a knowledge that I don't have, and that many of us in the industry don't have. And I think that's really the key. If we want to know how to build games for the future, we need to show the talented and creative people and students from those generations, from those cohorts, how our games work, what the fundamentals are behind casino game design, and then ask them to come up with new games and new concepts that would appeal to them. In the last 5 years, we've seen a lot of effort and investment put into creating skill slots, video game style slots. We've seen them placed in casinos here in North America, in Las Vegas, and in other jurisdictions. We're starting to see new slot concepts emerge in the mobile and online gaming space. One thing that is very exciting to see about these developments is it's good that the industry recognizes the need to innovate and the need to try new things. I do feel, though, that we need to acknowledge that of the skill titles that we've seen launched, or skill-focused titles that we've seen launched over the last 5 to 6 years, there have been some successes. There have been a few flops, but they haven't yet transformed the gaming space. They still represent a very small portion of the slot floor or the range of products that might be available to play on a mobile gaming app. I think we need to continue to move forward. We need to innovate in this space. We need to look at the games that upcoming generations of our players are playing now and think about how we can take elements of those games and insert them into casino games to make them appealing, to make them recognizable, to make them fun. But I do believe that what is most important for this to work is that we need to recognize that we're not gamifying video games. We're taking casino game design and we're introducing video game elements to those designs. In the same way that I feel like the Liberty Bells or the early slot machines of the 20th century remain the foundation of many of the slot games that we design today, that's still true in the future, right? That is a model that works. We know it works. We know people enjoy it. And I think we need to build around that model. Elements that I think are important to consider if you're going to innovate in skill and try to create a more video game feel to a casino-style game, particularly a slot game, you definitely want a game that is clear to understand. Because when we're talking about wagering and when we're talking about casino gaming, there's an element of risk there, and people want to be comfortable that they understand the skill that is required for them to maximize their likelihood of success. I think speed is very important. If I had one critique of some of the earlier skill innovations or innovations we've seen, I should say, in skill gaming, it would be that some of them took too long to resolve. And a lot of people say, well, if it takes too long to resolve an individual wager, then all we're doing is we're creating a formula where the game won't be worth it to the operator because it's too slow. And that's true, but actually I think more importantly, the players themselves want a fast experience. Most gambling, particularly slot gaming, the resolution of the wager is fairly quick. And I don't believe that that's just because that's what the operators want. I believe that's very much what creates an entertaining and enjoyable experience for the player. And then the last thing is slots deliver volatility. They deliver unexpected surprises and unexpected outcomes. They create patterns over multiple plays that are never the same. And so again, if we're going to introduce new forms of skill and new challenges and interactive opportunities for players, we want to keep that spirit, right? We want to keep what we know works in slots if we're going to change other elements of them to try to appeal to new players. There is a very good question, not just about the games that we're designing and how they're going to evolve and change, but what is the space that we're going to put them in? And by the way, I think this applies not just to physical casinos, but also the way we present and offer our mobile gaming space, right? The environment in which we're playing really does matter a lot. Certainly, I believe there is a very strong future for physical casinos, even though we are continuing to see growth in the mobile gaming space, because the gaming experience changes when you're in a social environment, when you're playing with friends, when you're sitting down at a giant machine with these fancy lights and huge screens and crystal clear graphics, and there's 10, 20, 30 people around you who are doing the same thing. It changes the experience in the same way that going to a sports venue to watch a game live creates a very different experience from watching it at home. But we do have to be aware of, we do very much have to be aware of how changing tastes, right, and expectations about what a casino should look like, what the environment should look like, can impact, new generations of players. If 2020 has shown us anything, we do not want to live in a world that is purely digital. You know, we don't want to live in a world where we can do everything that we can do in the real world on our phones or on our computers or on our tablets. So, you know, one of the big challenges for our industry is, you know, absolutely people can engage in, you know, can play casino games at home, but the experience is transformed when you're in a big room with a bunch of other people and dealers, and the machines and the screens are you know, 6 feet tall and 3 feet wide, and you have this energy and excitement. I think that the importance of that social and community environment is going to be more important and a bigger draw for players to physical casinos in the future than it necessarily is now, because a very large portion of our core players, they only view gambling as acceptable, as an acceptable activity in their local casino, in a casino they take a trip to visit. In the future, gaming is going to be, you know, future generations are going to be far more comfortable if they want to play a casino game to go online. So we are absolutely going to have to offer them an environment that heightens the entertainment value that comes from playing our casino game products. The future for the Center for Gaming Innovation is really exciting. We have recently collaborated with DraftKings to open the DraftKings Gaming Innovation Studio at UNLV. This studio is a really exciting opportunity for UNLV students who have talents and skills in programming, art, mathematics, and other relevant skills to collaborate together, working as a team like you would see in a real gaming studio, to take some of the really innovative and cool concepts that come out of the class and turn them into high-level prototypes and demonstrations of the concepts. It's really valuable for us because the better you can realize the vision for a new game, and the better that you can actually have a working model of a new game, the easier it is to find a partner to commercialize it. But I think what's more important is that we are giving some of the brightest students we have, and some of the most creative students we have, hands-on opportunity to learn and develop their skills in developing these games and we're creating what I hope will be the leaders and innovators for our industry long into the future.